Hey there guys, Sir Shwavy here, bringing you a Hardpoint commentary for Cove. This is one of the new maps for the DLC map pack that is Vengeance. It's a new DLC map pack of Call of Duty Black Ops 2. You might have heard of it, you might have not. But the topic of this video, of course, is getting a dog. Do you want to get a dog? First of all, that's the best question you should ask yourself right from the beginning. If the answer is yes, you do want to get a dog, the second question you should ask yourself is, do you want to adopt a dog, or would you rather buy a dog? Both of them have their ups and downs. I can only really speak for the adopting one, other than the negatives of buying a dog. Because I went to a rescue shelter. I went to the ASPCA here in the New York City. Um, Checked out their dogs. They gave me a list of other places that I might want to go to, and I actually went to, I believe it's called Animal Care and Control Center in New York City. It was on 110th Street and between 2nd and 1st Avenue. When I actually got there, I just toured around, looking at all the pets that they had. They had dogs, cats, and they also had rabbits. Oddly enough, of all things, why rabbits? I mean, they're wild all the time. Why would you really want to rescue them? I mean, does a person go into the botanical garden, grab a rabbit, and say that it's a stray? I don't think so. You know, so it's just an odd thing that it just bugs me. um, but basically, the way that it's set up is you go around the center looking at dogs that or a pet rather that you want to adopt. I'm gonna stick with dogs because that's what I adopted. I adopted a bulldog or a pit bull rather, a pit bull mixed breed. I believe some lady called him a red-nosed pit bull because he does have kind of like a brownish red nose, and he is pretty much a pit bull. Funny thing about my pit bull rather, he looks a bit like a cobra. He has that cobra head, like fat cheeks, really small, skinny mouth. Plaria area is what I meant to say, and basically, you want to make sure that you interact with the dog. You want to make sure your whole family is there to interact with the dog to make sure that he gets along with everyone. Fortunately enough, even though I didn't bring my whole family the first day I went, he was not taken on the second day that I went. It was basically from Monday I went, and then I found out I needed to take my sister and my mom to be with me over there, or rather my mom more so than my sister because my sister was heading upstate back to to work at school in Utica. She goes to SUNY IT, so that's a thing. And my mom did have to be present though to make sure that the dog got along with her as well. Bless you. That was my dog sneezing. If you couldn't hear that in the background, his name is actually Achilles. He's really cute. He's really playful, extremely playful, and I would say that's more so a negative than a positive. Every time he sees a person, or most of the times that he sees a person, he will want to essentially just rush straight at the people, or at the person rather, and he just wants to be happy. He wants to be the center of attention all the time, which I guess is a good thing in its own way, but it's kind of a downside in that you have to constantly look out for him. Make sure that he's not getting into trouble. Then again, the most trouble he gets into so far has been him pooping and peeing all over my room, and that was actually this morning. It was an unpleasant thing to wake up to. It was about 6:30 in the morning. I woke up. I noticed that he was up and he was just walking in circles, and I was like, "What are you doing?" I went over to turn on the light, and actually, no, I didn't go over to turn on the light. I just saw a puddle on the floor, and then I reprimanded him. I was saying bad dog and all of that other stuff that should be done to a dog. Calling him a bad dog. Not giving him special attention, not petting him when you're, reprimanding him. I don't even know if reprimanding is a good word to use or a good word to use. Uh, But essentially after that, I noticed there was a second puddle, so I was like, okay, I'm gonna have to clean this up. I went over to turn on the light. I turned on the light, and as soon as I turn on the light, I turn around and I see a dog turd. And I mean like a really big, healthy dog turd. I don't mean like a little tiny dog turd that is, that you could just pick up with like a pinky. I mean like you had to use your entire hand, and it was heavy in your hand. It was that kind of dog turd. And It was weird because it was cold, so I kind of wonder how long ago did he poo that it got cold. You know, it's kind of that weird question that you wonder, but you don't really want to know the answer to. But whatever. We put that behind us. We were able to go out on a walk like normal. Other than the fact that he broke free of his leash. Actually, it was basically a little cheap leash, probably like $10 a leash. I don't know. It's like basically it's just a piece of rope that is goes around your wrist for where you hold it, and you just hold the leash with your arm. And then the other part goes around his neck, and it works like a hook. It has a hook type thing that you hook onto the leash in order to keep him under control. And essentially, what happened was 2 days ago he started chewing on that. I noticed because I was just getting ready. I was putting on my sneakers. I was making sure that I had all my things. I had already put on the leash on him, which was a bad idea. And right here's a nice little area that you might want to use for hardpoint. It works out wonderfully. Every time I use it, I usually get a double or a triple, or if not, then I get 2 or 3 kills before either I die or I'm able to move to another location or we drive them out of that area. So you might want to keep that in mind when you play hardpoint on Cove. But anyways, what I was talking about was the dog chewed through his leash. Actually, what he ended up doing was he started chewing on it while I was getting ready. I noticed, so I took away the leash. I reprimanded him then as well. I called him a bad dog, all of that other stuff. And then we ended up going out like nothing. I just took him out around the block. He didn't chew on it anymore. Yesterday he chewed on it again, so I'm guessing maybe that got it weak, so, to the point that this morning he chewed, or rather he pulled right through it. He saw a female dog and he wanted to hit that. I was able to get him away from there though, so it's all good and dandy. And anyways, thanks for watching, guys. Take care until the next video. Goodbye, sirs.
You with pain to do not show it, so I kept my heart cold in New York while it was snowing. It's the fact you failed to notice, but the fact that you should notice. It's said to be without regrets and told without provoking.